Everybody, and welcome back to Slowpoke Racing and to the home of Ultimate Racing League, sponsored by Prop Up and Co. As you would know by now, this is the Manufacturers Cup, and it's race 2 of round 8 at Road Atlanta in Georgia. Fantastic race in race 1, which saw Matty take the win just ahead of George and the Colonel, who came in at third. Obviously, as you know, those guys will all be starting at the back now in the GR3 car. So the guys have all been fed and watered. They're feeling refreshed. Some have had a little nap, and they're back out now on the track in their bigger, more powerful cars. So let's have a look, and shall we, and see where they all are on the grid. Reverse grid, if you remember. So Dan, after a disastrous race 1, he's starting on pole position. He's got DJ just behind him in second. Sai is in third, Wadru is fourth, Bennett is fifth, Dragumis is sixth, Stormfly seventh, Colonel is eighth, George is ninth, Matty 10th, and Itsumi Dan is 11th. Didn't take part in race 1, but has managed to get the car on the grid ready for race 2. So good to have him back, but he is starting all the way at the back. So let's get this second and final race here at Road Atlanta underway. Dan in that Beetle will be taking us off and heading towards that first corner. Not the best of starts for Dan, actually. Got a little bit bogged down. The Citroens, though, fly off the start, and Dan already down to third, with Sai moving up to take the lead, followed closely by DJ in second. That Viper all over the back of Sai as they get up the hill towards the S's, and DJ just having to slot in behind Sai. Great start for Sai in that Citroen. Dan is in third, Bennett is in fourth, Stormfly is in fifth. Let's just see if the others are getting through there. We've got Matty has made his way up into sixth, with Dragumis in seventh, George is in eighth. So a fantastic start for some of these guys, the Porsches especially. That Citroen though, wow, it went off like a scolded cat. We've got the Colonel down in ninth, with Itsumi down in 10th, and Wadru in 11th. Not the best of starts for him, as he's going side by side around turn 7 with Itsumi down. Now he's back onto the straight, where everybody is going to be getting their foot down, trying to get some heat into those tyres. And it is all coming down to horsepower now and a bit of slipstream, but Woodrow all the way down in 11th, not where he wanted to be at the start of this race. As Sai gets to the chicane first, then we've got DJ in second. It's all getting a bit touchy-feely back here between Bennett and Stormfly. It is Bennett in fourth, Stormfly in fifth, Matty in sixth still, although he's got Dragumis next to him and George just behind him. So Matty being a little bit mugged here by the Greek contingency there, as it's all getting very touchy-feely, isn't it? Matty down to 7th now as Dragumis gets himself through and up into 6th. George having to slot in behind in 8th, and now it is Dragumis having to go at Stormfly as they enter into the S's down the hill into turn 5. This is bumper to bumper stuff. This, I don't know where to look next. Matty in 7th, then George. It is all getting very touchy-feely as they head up towards turn 6. You can just see Stormfly getting on the inside there. Somebody, that's all gone off now. It is Dragumis has gone onto the grass. Let's have a look and see what happened. Of course, we're going to go back and have a look and see what happened there. Again, I've probably gone back too far now. Stormfly goes very wide into turn 5. We mentioned that in race 1. And you can see Dragumis got the run on him, and then Stormfly, a bit of door rubbing. Matty gives him a bit of a hurry up as well. Stormfly almost goes off. Oh, and poor old Dragumis goes up there and gives Barrier a peck and tries to get himself back on track. Now then, is it going to be a safety car or not? What's happened to Sai? Sai was out in front. Oh, is he still out in front? Yes, he was. Yeah, of course he was. So I was out in front. Now then, is it a safety car? Because it just seemed everybody went off then. It doesn't look like it. They are still going at it. So Sai takes us down towards the chicane then for the second time. Nice little gap actually opening up between himself and DJ. Sai on the soft tyres, DJ on the mediums, Dan on the mediums as well in the Beetle. Bennett in fourth, he's on the softs. Then we've got Stormfly after that little bit of a tussle there back there at turn 6 and 7. Stormfly is in 5th with George just behind him in 6th in that Porsche. Very smart looking Porsche as well, actually. I do like the livery. I just want to actually, do you know what? I do want to say a bit of a shout out to somebody who's helped me out with some liveries just lately. And that is Brian Easy NZ. Now I think NZ stands for New Zealand. Now Brian is a decal maker. He's a livery guy. He makes liveries as well, but he does a lot of decals, and he's helped me out with a couple of decals just lately. And I said I'd give him a shout out, and I really do want to thank him as well. He is a bit of a wizard with the old Inkscape thing to create the decals. And we've seen George and Stormfly have a bit of a fight there into turn 6. This is all very close, isn't it? So yeah, I just want to say a big thank you to Brian. If you are listening, Brian, I really do appreciate the help. Oh, flash of the lights there from George. He didn't like that, did he? That little tussle he had with Stormfly. Let's go, do you know what? Let's go back and have another look at this. Now, I think these two have been a bit niggly since the race started. Now we'll go on board with George. Again, he gets a much better run out of turn 5. You can see Stormfly drifting over there to try and defend the line. George dives back. Yeah, he didn't like that move, did he, of Stormfly's? And there we can see, there we go, the flash of the lights. Now I'm not sure that's a flash of the lights to say good move, or a flash of the lights to say I really didn't like that. I don't know. But these two are going to keep niggling each other. George just trying to clean his tyres there. I think he got a little bit of grass as he came out of turn 7. Down the hill into the chicane they go. We can see the Colonel having a bit of a fight with Itsumi Dan, who's made his way up into 8th at the minute. The Colonel is on the medium tyres. Itsumi Dan also on the mediums in that Ferrari. And those two are getting a bit too cosy, aren't they? As they come around the final turn 12. Across the start-finish line to start lap 4, up towards turn 1 we go then. This sweeping right-hander, just a dab of the brakes for some of them, others just lift and then plant it again. I'm not quite that brave, but there we go. Wadru has moved up into 9th from the back of the grid. He's got Matty just behind him in 10th, and Dragumis after that. Disaster. Well, do you know what? Actually, he's doing really well to catch up because he's not that far behind. So he's on the soft tyres, which is a bit of a shame. He's got to really use those tyres up to catch up to the rest of the grid. And in these GR3s, I can't imagine the soft tyres lasting more than 6 laps. But we shall see. We shall see. These guys are a lot better at looking after the tyres than I am. So out in front, with a comfortable lead at the minute, it is Sai. He's on the soft tyres that they are starting to wear, so he's going to start losing a little bit of grip over the coming laps. So just got to keep it together, Sai. Nice to see him out in front though, isn't it? And like I say, that gap seems to be getting a little bit bigger back to DJ. So it should actually. Sai on the softs, DJ on the mediums. So DJ having a fantastic race. And look at the battle we've got going on here between Dan and Stormfly. Now then, Stormfly gets himself on the inside of Dan as they get towards turn 1. Dan's going to have to go the long way around. Oh, and he's on the grass. That is not what he wanted. As Dan goes right across the grass, back onto the track. Wow, he really did go the long way, didn't he, Dan? He did the sensible thing, actually. I mean, I'm laughing because I just think it's great when the guys go off. But Dan, actually, fantastic driving from Dan. He did the right thing. He didn't slam the brakes on. He knew that he couldn't turn in on Stormfly, and then he gets onto the grass. So he just keeps going. There's no point trying to slam the brakes on. There's no point trying to turn the wheel because he knows he would have just spun out. So actually, that is fantastic driving from Dan. He re-enters onto the track in P6. Yes, he's lost a couple of places, but that could have been a lot worse. He's just got to be a little bit careful here because he's got the dirty tyres. Oh, and a little bit of a hurry up there from Colonel Curtains, but at least he's still on the track. Maybe this is not his favourite track, but fantastic stuff from Dan. I have got to say that is great car control because he kept it facing the right way. He's now falling into the clutches of Itsumi Dan. Dan on the inside. So the two Dans now battling it out as they go down this long back straight. It is the Ferrari against the Beetle. You would never on paper put these two in a head-to-head, would you? But here they are We've got the Porsche of Wadru creeping up behind Dan as well, as Dan goes defensive against Wadru as they come down the hill into the chicane, and Dan gets in there. It's Itsumi Dan who goes through in P7, Dan in 8th with Wadru in 9th. Now Wadru's having a bit of a look at Dan as well. Oh, Dan is really being attacked at the minute, isn't he? As Wadru makes his way through to P8 and Dan drops down to 9th. He is getting properly mugged at the minute. Next on the list is Matty, who's going to be eyeing Dan up. Dragumis down in 11th, who's, well, I've got to say, he's done a great job to get a little bit closer to the guys. Really pushing hard. He's got the fastest lap at the minute at 1:19.2, but he really is burning through his tyres just to play catch up. But he is catching up, and he's going to go on to the mediums in a bit. Talking to mediums, let's have a look to see whether Sai could do with changing his, and he's okay actually. I think Sai might stay out for at least one, maybe two more laps. DJ still in second. Stormfly, well, he's really been in it, hasn't he, in this race. He's in P3 now. He's having a bit of a breather. Got a bit of a gap back to George, but not much. George has got, well, he has really got his hands full, hasn't he? George has got he's got Bennett, got around the outside. Oh, George whips across the track to try and defend this chicane. He gets ahead of Bennett, and George is in there. Colonel Curtis is in there as well. So is Itsumi Dan. What a race we've got on our hands here. About 3 or 4 cars all fighting out for one position there into that chicane, and at the minute it is George that's come out in front. He's in 4th, but then we've got Bennett, we've got Colonel Curtains, we've got Itsumi Dan, we've got Wadru as well in there. Let's jump on board with Wadru so we can see what's happening up ahead as we go through turn 1 into turn 2, then into the start of the S's around this left-hander, and then it's downhill from now on, just clipping each of these curbs through turn 5, then onto the brakes. Oh, Itsumi Dan get a little bit squirrely, but managed to hold on to it. Quick look behind us, and Dan's catching up as well. So this is going to turn into quite a race between all of these guys. There is not a lot in it at the minute. You can see just ahead there, we've got Bennett in 5th with Colonel in 6th. Itsumi just behind him and in front of Wadru. This is great stuff, trying to pick up what little slipstream there is. Colonel trying to get onto the back of Bennett. Bennett trying to catch up with the back of George. And George obviously trying to catch up to the back of Stormfly as they come down the hill into the chicane. Again, you can see Itsumi Dan trying to put the pressure on Colonel Curtains. Well held through there for all of them. Itsumi Dan in 7th. Remember, this is his first race here in Atlanta. Missed the race 1 in the GR4s. Couldn't get the car onto the grid. Now then, what's happening just up ahead as Bennett is having a look up the inside there of George. There was a little touch there, but it's to be expected when you're that close, and the Colonel's having a go at Bennett as well. George now down into 6th. Itsumi Dan on the attack as well as they get into the S's. All 4 cars trying to get the advantage over the other one, and Bennett just ahead of George. It is Colonel that has come out on top this time. He's moved up into P4. Bennett in 5th. George in 5th. He's having another go at Bennett as they head down towards us. George, has his steering wheel come off? He's all over the place, desperately trying to find a way through. He gets himself on the inside of Bennett. Can he get that Porsche slowed down and turned around turn 7? Yes, he can, just about. Fantastic stuff, but the tyres have taken an absolute pounding. That front left is about gone now on George's car. They are going to be struggling. Bennett also suffering with the tyres. Itsumi Dan trying to get by Bennett. You can see Itsumi Dan and Bennett side by side as they come down the hill into the chicane. One of them's going to have to give it up. Itsumi Dan, he's on the medium tyres, so he can keep going. Now then, are the guys ahead of him going to come into the pits? I think I saw George. Yeah, George, he's got to come into the pits, hasn't he? His tyres are about gone. All right, let's try and get some order, shall we? Let's have a look and see what's happening. So Itsumi Dan, he's managed to get by Bennett and moves up into 5th. Bennett is in 6th. Dan, he's a good recovery from him. He's now just got by Bennett as well. I think Bennett, the tyres are really starting to hurt Bennett now on that Lamborghini. He's got Matty Older all over the back of him as well. Dan's on the mediums. So Itsumi Dan, this is where the medium tyres start to take over. and come into their own as the softs all start to drop off, and you can see Bennett really struggling with them now as Matty Older moves on by as well. So Bennett, he's probably going to be looking, it should be a sensible thing for him to pit at the end of this lap. He is struggling after, well, I'm not surprised after that battle he's just been having with George and the rest of the guys. Excuse me. So George, he's picked up 3 seconds. Naughty George has picked up 3 seconds, 3.5 seconds now. He will be absolutely furious. Now I'm just going to stay with him because I want to see if he serves his penalty properly. We did see it earlier, didn't we, where his fellow countryman decided to not serve his penalty properly. Oh, and there we go. Well, that's what you get for being naughty, George. I'm not going to say you did well. Yeah, there you go. That's for being naughty. You were trying to tie a dip and it caught you out, and now you're down in 11th. Enough said. Sai out in front. Well, surely he's got to be pitting at the end of this lap. It's he's got the gap. He needs to come in. Those tyres are really hurting. He's going to start losing time. Now you can see the last couple of laps have been 120s. He's been consistent 119s. He's now 120s. So yeah, the lap times start to drop off as the tread on those tyres go as well. But the fuel light's on, so yeah, Sight should be coming into the pits. Let's just hope the rest of the guys can get through the pit lane without picking a penalty up, but like George did, we don't like to see anybody getting these pit lane penalties, but this is an awful pit lane right over the brow of the hill. Now then, DJ has kept on going, so DJ will take over the lead of this race as we see size into the pits. Colonel Curtains, he's going on through on the medium tyres. He's moved up now into P2. Itsumi Dan is going to stay out and moves up. Sight into the pits then. Dan is also into the pits. Matty Older also into the pits. All requiring fuel. So these guys ahead of them have all looked after their fuel pretty well, haven't they? Itsumi Dan, well, he really has been sipping at the fuel in that Ferrari because he's got more left than anybody. So that should give him a shorter pit stop, actually. Let's have a look. Dan on his way out. Stormfly goes through. He's going to move up into P7, is he? Or is he not? As we see Dan's coming out. Oh no, Dan's picked up 3. He really is being punished on this track. I don't think I've seen anybody have as many penalties as Dan has had. He's been so unlucky at this track, and I'm sure he'll be glad to see the back of it. As everybody else made it out. Sai, he's out in 5th. He's penalty free. Stormfly, also no penalty for him. Same with Wadru, same with Dragumis. So all of these guys made it out without picking up a penalty. Dragumis in 8th, then George in 9th, having, well, I don't know if he served his penalty or not. He just smashed into the barrier, didn't he? So not a great second part of the race for George, as we see the 2 leaders coming in now, well, 3 leaders. So let's just have a look and see what's happening. Oh, Dan, well, he served his penalty, practically stopped, hasn't he? So surely he's going to get the run on him as they come down the hill towards the chicane. Yeah, they do. Dan just moves over to let Sai through. So with the 3 guys ahead of him in the pit, all taking on a bit of fuel, Sai just coming around the final turn then. Is who's coming out of the pits? Itsumi Dan at the minute in the lead of this. Oh, it's so painful. Come on, get out of the pit. It's so painful. Dan takes up the lead of this race with Sai all over him. A little bit of lag there coming from Dan's car, which can't be easy for Sai to try and make a move on Dan when you're not quite sure which part of the track he's going to be on. But Sai's pushing hard in second, led all the way through up to the pit stop, and is now re-entered in P2. Stormfly in P3 with Wadru just behind him. Then we've got Dragumis, then we've got DJ. So a nice procession of cars as we just passed the 16 minute mark, so just a little under 9 minutes to go. So this one probably going to be about 19 laps then, so we're looking around about another 6, maybe 7 laps as we see this procession of about 6 cars now either one of them could win this race, to be fair, as the gap is not that big between 1 and 6. 6 being DJ at the minute. DJ's on the softer tyres as well, did his first stint on the mediums. Oh, we've had a spinner. It's Stormfly. Let's see what happened to Stormfly then. Well, I think he's just served a penalty actually, because Wadru's just gone by him quite easily, and Dragumis does as well. As they get down towards the chicane now then, too wide, it is Dragumis and Stormfly. Oh, a little bit of a touch there from Dragumis, and around goes Stormfly. Let's just have one more look at that. We'll look at it from Dragumis' point of view. Yeah, there was definitely a touch there. I think Stormfly tried to turn in on Dragumis. Now then, is Dragumis going to wait, or does he feel that he doesn't need to? It wasn't really his fault. He's having a little bit of a tussle with DJ, just manages to keep it on track. And DJ moves on through into P4 as they get to turn 1. Now then, Dragumis doesn't look like he's slowing down, so he doesn't feel that he needs to. He didn't feel like he did anything wrong there at the chicane to assist in Stormfly spinning. That's one for the stewards if it gets reported. We just like to look at it, and we like to make our own minds up, don't we? Of course we do. We're all stewards, that's what we're here for. So let's just get off of Dragumis' back. Let's have a look and see what's happening with Colonel Curtains in the AMG. He's currently sitting in 6th, on a great little battle developing there. Sorry, we just had to leave the Colonel there to see what's going on with George and Itsumi Dan. Itsumi Dan in that Ferrari chasing the Porsche down of George onto the back straight, then foot planted on the noisy pedal. It is Ferrari against Porsche. The Ferrari trying to pick up a little bit of slipstream from George. Let's go on board with Dan, shall we, as we go over the brow of the hill, down the hill then towards the chicane. George taking a very defensive line there. Does compromise your exit slightly, but he's managed to get around there no problem whatsoever. So good defending from George into the turn 10A and 10B, across the line to start lap 14 with about 7 minutes to go. Nothing doing at turn 1 for Itsumi Dan. A quick look behind us, we can see Matty's there in that Citroen, but there's a bit of a gap at the minute as we get into the S's, and Itsumi Dan being frustrated, I think, a little bit by George. It just seems Itsumi Dan is just a tad quicker through this section, but the track's not that wide, and there's no real overtaking opportunity for him. So he gets right up the chuff of George, but just cannot find a way through at the minute. And then when he gets onto the section of track where he can overtake, George just seems to have the edge. He just puts his foot down. Now then, Itsumi Dan into the slipstream of George. I say slipstream, it's, let's face it, it's pants. The slipstream is really, really rubbish, isn't it, at the minute? I'm not sure. We don't actually put it. We put it on real. We put it on real. So I'm sure it should be more real than this. Itsumi Dan though getting on the inside of George as they get to the chicane. A great move from Itsumi Dan there, but George is fighting back. He gets a much better exit out of the chicane and regains that P7. A fantastic move around the outside from George. He really got a great exit out of the chicane after Dan came on through. Now then, Dan fighting back as they get into turn 1. Can't quite get up the inside. George taking a very defensive line, and he's got to against Itsumi Dan, both on the no, they're not. George is, I thought George was on the soft tyres. He's not. He's on the mediums. Itsumi Dan on the soft, both with decent grip as well, so you'd have thought that Itsumi Dan would have the edge. We've just gone past the 20-minute mark, so 5 minutes to go. What we're looking at, about another 3 laps, something like that. So if Itsumi Dan wants to gain a place against George, well, these two are really having a fantastic battle. And once again, they exit turn 7. Oh, Sai's gone onto the grass. Sai went very wide out of turn 7. That's going to cost him, actually. He's got dirty tyres. George has managed to get by. Sai is going to come under attack now from Itsumi Dan, who's concentrating fully on the back of George as he follows him through. Sai, just not a lot he can do about it. He's got dirty tyres. Wasn't the greatest of exits out of turn 7 for Sai. and he's just lost 2 places on the back of it. Itsumi Dan still following George through that chicane. It's his turn to now look at making a move on George as they come up behind DJ. DJ is, well, he won't believe what's happening, will he? He's just driving along doing his own thing. Then all of a sudden these two turn up and it's 3 wide into turn 1 as Itsumi Dan and George both get by DJ. Side's going to take full advantage and following through as well. So DJ being mugged now as Side tries to take advantage. Can't quite do it and slots in behind DJ, but look at Itsumi Dan and George still fighting it out. I'm going to go up and have a look and see what's happening up at the top, and then we'll come back to these. It is Dan out in front. Let's have a look and see if we can see. Seems to have quite a decent gap actually. So that Beetle proving to be a decent prospect here, and Dan, he has got a gap. It is Wadru in second in the Porsche. So Wadru having a great second race. Then we've got Colonel Curtains. He's holding on to the 3rd podium position in the AMG. So not a lot happening between the top 3 at the minute. Dragumis is in 4th in the Lamborghini, getting a little bit closer to the Colonel. Then we've got George and Itsumi Dan. They are still going at it. They are trading paint. They are bashing doors. They were trying to take each other's wing mirrors out. This time it is George on the inside as they get to that chicane. Itsumi Dan. Oh, how did he slow that car down? I thought he was going to take the back end of George. George was compromised. He was defending that line so much. He was compromised on the exit of the first of the parts of the chicane. As Dan has a look up the inside. Sire's got a ringside seat in all of this. He's desperately trying to find a way through as well, just to add to the mix. We've got 22. The fuel light's on for George. Itsumi Dan has got through. He's got plenty of fuel on the soft tyres. He finally gets by George. George has got the fuel light, so he's going to be conscious of that. And to be fair, we've probably got another lap to go, maybe 2. So George has got to be looking at the fuel. Sai, he's okay for fuel at the minute. We've got DJ just behind him in 8th with Matty in 9th, race 1 winner. Then we've got Stormfly down in 10th with Bennett in 11th. Dan out in front. He's been caught now by Wadru, so Wadru starting to apply the pressure on Dan as they two go across the brow of the hill down towards the chicane. It's Dan trying to take that inside line, and as he got it, was a bit of a touch there on the rear quarter of Wadru, but no harm done. They both keep going, and Wadru now takes over the lead of this race, and it is Dan that needs to fight back. That lag still kicking a little bit. I hope it's lag and not a loose wheel, not as we see Dan Nan's Beetle sliding from left to right as we get towards turn 1. So Wadru now takes over the lead of this race with about a minute and 10 seconds or so to go. So this is going to probably, I don't know, this is going to be close as to whether we get one more lap out of it for these two. Dan in 2nd, Colonel in 3rd, then holding on to the final podium position. A decent gap for the Colonel back to Dragumis. He's got the fuel light flashing as well. Itsumi Dan in 5th. They've calmed down now. Yes, they have. Itsumi Dan has managed to open up a bit of a gap between himself and George. George has got a mirror full of DJ and Matty as they almost go 3 wide into turn 6. It's going to be tight. You can't do that there, boys, as George gets on through and moves up into P6 then. Oh, just holding on to it as he gets all squirrely, but the fuel is looking very low for George. DJ, he's got plenty of fuel, so he can just afford to really power down. Matty trying to follow him through. We are going to have to go up to the leaders because let's have a look at the time. We have got about 15 seconds to go. I think Woodrow's going to get one more lap in at least. So will Dan. Yeah, definitely. Maybe even the Colonel's going to get one more lap as well. So Dragumis in 4th. He's going to cross the line. Not that he wanted to. Itsumi Dan crosses the line. All of these guys getting one more lap in. The Stormfly goes onto the grass. He gets a little touch there with George, who I think may have run out of fuel. Oh, let's go back. So Bennett is the first one to cross the line in 10th position. We're just going to follow Bennett across the line to see him finish. We do like to see everybody finish. So we'll follow Bennett through, and then we're going to go up very quickly and have a look and see what's happening, because I've got a feeling a couple of these guys are going to run out of fuel. George in 4th, Itsumi Dan, all with the fuel light on. Stormfly about out. George has gone. George has got no fuel left at all. So that's him done. Matty, yeah, he's done as well. Bennett, oh, and Si, let's just go back. As I say, we do like to see people cross the line. As Si led for a good chunk of this race, and we're not quite sure what happened. He made the pit stop, and all of a sudden, he's all the way down in 11th. So it's now up to Wadru. Wadru, he looks like he could run out of fuel as well, actually. So Wadru, oh, sip it, sip. Look, just take tiny little sips, Mr. Porsche. You do not want to be guzzling it down. Let's have a look at Dan. He's the same as well. Don't open the windows, turn the aircon off, turn the heater off, turn the radio off. We don't want to be using any fuel at all. Colonel Curtains, he's in the same position as well. So these guys just about timed it to perfection, I think. Oh no, they've got to use a bit of power to get up the hill. Wadru is out of fuel. Dan, Dan just giving Wadru a bit of a nudge. Let's have a look at this again. Wadru is about out of fuel now. He has to use that last little bit, and I think Dan just trying to give him a bit of a nudge. Look, oh, and he spun him out instead. I think he was trying to push him through. Well, the Colonel goes through, laughing his head off. Colonel gets the win. Well done to him. Dan in second. Dragumis across the line in third. Itsumi Dan gets fourth. Where did Wadru go? DJ gets fifth. Stormfly across the line in sixth. Nearly all of them are out of fuel. Wadru, is he going to get sixth? Yes, he is. He's going to crawl across the line to get seventh for Wadru. What a shame. George is out of fuel as well. He's only just come around turn 7. They've all got to crawl back. Matty, he's out of fuel. Well, there you go. They've all. This is the problem when you have timed races as opposed to lap counts. You have to try and work out how many laps you've got left, and it is pretty difficult when you're trying to race and do everything else. Matty, I think he's just closed his eyes, I think, and letting the car drift around. What a shame. It's not the way to finish a race. It is not the way to finish a race, but there you go. It's a miscalculation of the fuel. Bit of a shame, but it is what it is. So anyway, up to the top then. Oh, it is well done to Colonel Curtains. He takes the win, albeit by a little bit of default with the fact that Dan and Wadru ran out of fuel, but nevertheless a win is a win. So well done to Colonel Curtains. Dan gets second. Dragumis, well, it says he got third. Yes, he did get third, didn't he? Because Wadru got spun. So Dragumis gets third. Itsumi Dan fourth. DJ fifth. Stormfly sixth. Wadru seventh. Oh, what a shame. He was leading as well, wasn't he? Right up towards the final corner. What a shame. What a great race though. Very entertaining. Absolutely love covering these pro guys on a Wednesday. Next week, I believe we are at one of my least favourite tracks, Bathurst. Mount Panorama, so that should be interesting across that mountain range there, especially in the GR3s. So join me for that. Thank you everybody for watching. Remember, if you've not subscribed, just do us a favour and do so. I want to try and get to 300 subscribers as quick as I can. But thank you very much for joining me. I shall catch you all very soon.